Charlottesville, home of the University of Virginia and the Cavaliers, where around here they say learning never ends. They hope to teach a lesson in this one. The shot that clears will kick it away to start us off. On the run from inside his own 5. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. So Virginia's offense will get first crack at it here. And David, we've got a quarterback today who's been known for making enough plays when his team needs them.
Yeah, and listen, he's a guy that this offense is built around him, but Jesse, he's not the guy that's going to take over. He needs the running game to get going. He needs the passing game. He needs a little bit of balance. Really good football player, but he needs the help of the quality teammates around him.
Yeah, you're right. I think the one thing we've seen with this guy is he's got to get into a rhythm in games early, right? And so whether it's running the football or getting a few completions early to get his confidence going, because once that happens, he's very, very good.
After that last incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from their own 20. He'll keep it himself. Got to protect the merchandise. Gets down without taking a hit.
Yeah, and it's a nice job by this defense understanding, listen, that QB is a threat, and they're going to run all kinds of options, and he's going to run the football. They were dialed in and got that sucker to the ground.
Didn't take long to need a clutch play on the opening drive. It's 3rd and 7. Here comes the option. Big time play by the defense. He'll lose 4.
And this defense, they were ready for that 3rd down. That you could tell they smelt the option coming, did a great job, aggressive, downhill, went and got it, got the tackle for a loss, forcing the 4th down.
And the Cavaliers send out the punt unit. This will be their first punt of the afternoon. Might have thought he'd want to try to pick up a few yards there, but he's content with making the fair catch right around the 35-yard line. So the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers offense will have its first possession of the game. Every team has impact players. What traits are you looking for when it comes to players who can make an impact, David?
Well, obviously, you want the main things, right? Speed, physicality, like all power, all those things are really, really good. But you also need guys that will hold people accountable, guys that will lead. And it's nice to have those guys on your team. They're the leaders of the team, and they're the best players.
And part of the reason why they're leaders is because these guys galvanize their teammates, right? We've seen time and time again, these dudes make plays, and it just sparks the sideline. It sparks the coaching staff. It sparks the fans. They're special players, and they all have to play well together.
And he's stuffed by that big defensive tackle up front.
Well, that guy is so quick coming out of his stance. Did you see how fast he got to the ball carrier to get that tackle for loss? Wow.
Lost 1 on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. The give to the running back from the shotgun. And the defense stops him just short of the first down. Maybe needed a few more chain links to move the sticks.
And I love this because you got 2nd and really, really long. And what's the idea of the offensive coordinator? Get 3rd and manageable. Nice job getting the run, not only a positive run, shoot, you almost got the first down. Now you're set up for good success on 3rd down.
They'll try to power their way ahead. Stopped in the backfield, and this defense has forced him into 4th down.
Yeah, they're just going to need more push up front. There was nowhere for that running back to go. The offensive line got moved right back into his lap, and as a result, they lose yards on that play.
And the Chanticleers will punt it away on 4th down. He ought to be able to use this first punt to pin him deep. Not going to take a chance to grab that one as it bounces out of bounds. We'll see what they can do on this drive that starts at the 16-yard line. From the gun, the running back has it. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
Man, this defense is setting the tone early. 3 and out on the first drive, and on the first play, the second drive, they get a TFL. They are sending a very clear and distinct message to this offense. They are going to set the tone of this game.
Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. Running to the left. Nudges ahead for 1 out to the 16. Now facing a 3rd and long. Back to pass, it's Morris. Unloads to the wideout. It's caught downfield. He's going to have enough to pick up the first down as they stop him at the 33-yard line.
When I see the defense in man coverage, I'm trying to get my fast guy versus their worst corner, trying to get a great matchup on the outside, take advantage of it to make big plays.
The Cavaliers have it with a 1st and 10. Give to Brown. Turning on the Jets. Oh, he's got some space. Past the 20. Touchdown, Cavaliers. He got loose, and it was lights out after that.
Man, I am a great play caller when I can hand it to guys like that. He can go that far to the house, create big plays, showed you a little bit of vision, showed you a little bit of burners when he kicked it in gear and got the long touchdown.
Getting set for the extra point after putting the scoreboard to work for the first time. And the PAT makes it 7-0. Quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. And they finish it off on the ground, a 67-yard touchdown run. They're ready to kick it away, and this crowd is buzzing after that last score. He'll bring it out from inside his own 10. He was looking for more running room, but none to be found as he stopped at the 23. This drive opens up at the 23-yard line. He'll do it himself. Good, solid, determined run there. They'll mark him down at the 27.
You know, this zone replay is something they rep over and over and over in practice. This guy can run it and execute it in his sleep. Good decision there keeping the football.
After a good pickup on the run, it's 2nd down. Rides the back on the option, the give. He picks up maybe a couple before he stopped right at the 30-yard line. We've reached the end of the period. It's Virginia holding the lead. We've played one. Before we move on, let's have a look at the stats. Heading in the opposite directions now as we crank it up in the 2nd. So they go back to work after the break, and it is 3rd down. Looking to throw, it's Morris. Finds his man. It's John. And he gets it up to the 36. It'll be a 1st down.
Man, a great job by the QB finding the running back, getting the football where he can do some damage after the catch, and most importantly, get the 1st down.
Now from the 36-yard line, it's 1st and 10. Hand off from the shotgun. Not a whole lot of room there. 3 yards maybe, 2nd and 7.
They have just not been able to get this guy into a rhythm so far in this game. I know it's still the first half, but there has been nothing going for him like you just saw in that last run. He's an outstanding talent. You may have to start thinking about throwing him the football, getting him out in the perimeter in space to let him go to work. He's got to touch the ball for you to come back in this game. Right now, running it, though, very difficult.
The defense wouldn't let him loose there, and it was a completion, but they lost yardage.
Now, on offense, you're trying to get your running back involved here in the passing game, and obviously no success on that play. Defense seemed like they were aware of it, and all of a sudden you've set yourself up in a tough position here on 3rd.
It'll be 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Pressure is on the way, and the pressure has arrived, and down he goes at the 30.
How nice is it as a defense when you can drop 7 guys into coverage, only rush 4, and still get home? That makes you feel good if you're the D coordinator.
The shot that clears the line up to punt it away. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. He'll try to field the punt and bring it back. Excellent coverage that time. Didn't give him any room to set up a big return. Dropping back, it's Morris. Rushes on him. Lost one deep down the right side. Makes a grab on the shot. And they were looking for a chunk play, and they got it. The explosive picks up more than 30. That's the way you get things going. A huge play, and now attacking from just inside the red zone. Unloads quickly. Takes it all the way down to the 4 after making the grab, and they're set up.
Love the decision-making by the quarterback there on the RPO play. Defense took everything away deep down the field, so just check it down, get it to your guy in the right flat, and let him go get yards.
And the Cavaliers trying to cash it in on 1st and goal. From the gun, looking for a man. Caught in the backfield, it's Brown. And just a short, safe pass play, they pick up a few.
And this offense shows they will be aggressive. On 1st and goal, they get the completion. Listen, games come down to executing in the red zone. This is a big spot.
Can the defense stop them again on 2nd and goal? Wide receiver comes in motion. Touch pass on the jet sweep. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
And the offense, they don't choose to go downhill, be physical. They try to get it on the perimeter. Stay away from some of those defensive linemen, but you can tell DBs, linebackers, not scared. Nice job playing fast, trusting their eyes, and forcing a 3rd down.
We've got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. How many chances can you afford to waste in the red zone? They've already been stopped twice. Can they come through this time? It's 3rd and goal. Here comes the heat. And he is snowed under. Sacked at the 7. Quick timeout by the defense there, trying to make sure everyone has the same call. They'll play it safe and send out the field goal unit. And the holder will spot it on the 14 for a 24-yard attempt. Just drives it between the uprights. And now the lead is even bigger. So after the last drive ended with a field goal, the kickoff team out there to send it away. And he takes this from inside the 5. Good job by the coverage unit to stop the return man. First play of this drive comes from the 13-yard line. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down.
Well, it's a nice job by the quarterback getting the ball out of his hands quickly on that RPO. He saw something he liked, just not on the same page with his receiver.
What will they dial up on 2nd and a long way to go? Scanning the field, it's Morris. Makes the catch, it's Tucker. Brought down at the 25 after he picked up 10. They've got it 1st and 10 from the 25. Looking to throw on 1st down. That's reeled in. It's John. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on second down. Wants to throw. He's working against the clock. Timeout called here by the defense. It's their first of the half.
Man, it didn't take long for the defense to get home on that play. You see them playing man coverage in the back end, slowing down the routes from the receivers and the rest of the offense. That forced the quarterback to have to hold on to it for just a split second longer, and they were able to get the sack.
The short hands. It's Tucker. He'll be stopped short of the line to gain. Needed about 3 more on that one. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. And the Chanticleers will call on their punt team. Catches it at the 30. And he'll work his way on the return out to the 35-yard line before he's stopped. Here we go. They'll try to get something on the board here in the final minute of the first half. They'll start this drive going to the air. Pulls it in. It's Brown. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. The offense calls a timeout to stop the clock. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Looking to throw, it's Morris. Quickly to the tight end. They could have used a little bit more there. Pick up 3. It's 3rd and 7. We've played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
All right, guys, looks like we've got a great atmosphere today in Charlottesville. And a lot of coaches will say limiting the big plays and maybe hitting on a few yourself is key. But I'm more of a move the chains guy. Give me efficiency every day of the week and twice on Saturday. The offensive unit that subscribes to the less is more philosophy might be the one that leaves here today with a big fat W. And with that, let's send it back to the guys at the Carl Smith Center and Scott Stadium.
The Cavaliers will kick it away to crank up the second half. He'll start the return inside his 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. They'll get this drive going from the 17. Keeping it on the ground to open the second half. Turning it on! Chain gang on the move. It'll be a first down at the 29.
And here we go. If you're an offense, you got to get that ground game going so you can have some balance, and then you give it to your quarterback, Palmer, and let him make some plays down the field later on.
Yeah, exactly. And coming into this game, this offense knew they were going to have to some way, somehow, at least establish a semblance of a running game for exactly what you just said. You got to be able to use play-action pass later in this game to get some explosive plays down the field, and it's a play like that we just saw, which can help them get that going.
Man, it's easy to call plays when you're getting 5 or 6 yards of pop on the ground. Like, why would I get complicated? Why would I get complex? Like, up front right now, this group just win, fall forward, get that good gain, stay ahead of the sticks, don't have to get in bad situations. This defense better respond, or else I'll do that all the way down the field.
Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Chanticleers come to the line on 3rd down, trying to keep this drive alive. Gives it on the option. And they stopped him in the backfield on 3rd down and short.
Well, it's a negative play trying to run the football, and I think if you're on offense, you got to be thinking about throwing it now. You're trailing by a lot. You got to get back in this game. You need tempo, and you need explosive plays through the air.
And the Chanticleers will line up to punt it away. He makes a fair catch, couple of steps inside his own 25 and the 23-yard line. They'll get things started on this drive from the 24. Caught over the middle. It's Ennis. Caught, and he's close to a first down on the nice pickup there. That's why the good Lord invented tight ends, isn't it, David? Get a good pickup on first down, open up the entire playbook.
Man, it just makes life so easy on quarterbacks. I mean, you got these guys that are so gifted athletically that you can do everything with them. They're like overgrown wide receivers, and now understanding zones and how to attack them. It's just unbelievable when you got these kind of big athletes.
He almost picked up the first down on that one, but he'll be just a little bit short.
Nice route there by the tight end, making it real easy for his quarterback to find an easy completion.
And the Cavaliers are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short. On 3rd and short, they keep it on the ground here. They'll keep this drive moving by picking up the first down. They have it at the 36.
That is how it's done on 3rd down and short. No doubt about it. An easy hole to get through and clearly get the first down.
If you really want to simplify football, the low man wins. That time the offense got the better of the D. Easily picked that up.
They'll ride the running back and leave it with him. This time he doesn't get loose, and finally the defense gets him bottled up behind the line. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Lost one on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. Out of the gun, the give to the back. And this one will be stopped for no gain.
You know, the runner just has to have a little bit more patience. He bounced that thing outside a little too early, and as a result, lost yards.
The Cavaliers are in a mess here on 3rd and a mile. Dropping back, it's Morris. Got him downfield. Good pickup there as he gets the first down, and they'll mark him at the 48.
The defense has got to be able to make a play at some point here in the second half. You're down 2 possessions. You need to steal a possession badly. You need to have a takeaway. The coverage is going to have to be way tighter than on that last throw. Otherwise, this offense is just going to go up and down the field.
To the air on first down. Got it in the middle. It's Ennis. Nice gain on that play, but a little bit short of the first down. I don't think he was the primary receiver on that play, David, but a very productive pickup on first down.
And these tight ends are so good at understanding zones and where to sit down. And listen, it's not the huge gain down the field, but it's always death by 1,000 cuts, small gains, break tackles, and continue to move the sticks.
They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the first down.
Well, I think you're seeing the mental approach this offense is taking now. With a nice lead here late in the 3rd quarter, they're satisfied to just run the ball and chip away at this clock. This has been a really good-looking drive. Plenty of plays. They're staying on the field. They're bleeding and ticking this clock away. Nice job there getting it done on the ground.
That ball hit him right in a bad spot, right in the hands. Really unfortunate he didn't come down with that one.
They're dealing with a 2nd and long. The give to the back. It's a seam wide open. Touchdown, Virginia. And once he found open space, the band might as well start playing. An impressive run from the back. Gets him 6 points, good drink of water, and maybe a little oxygen.
He definitely needs some oxygen after that long run, but it looks simple, right? Just hand the ball off, but when you can make big plays like this in the run game, man, does it make offense fun.
On to attempt the try. And with the extra point, they now have a 3-possession lead at 17. So it's a 77-yard touchdown drive, and he punctuated that drive by ripping off a 38-yard run for 6. They're set to kick it off, and this crowd now ready to get behind them. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. So they start this drive from inside their own 20 at the 19-yard line. Just gets it to the 20, a pickup of 1. Guys, that's the end of the quarter, and Virginia has the lead here. This has been utter domination through 3 quarters, and the stats will back that up. One more period to go, and we'll see just how much fight they've got left in them. And a chance to mull things over. Let's see how they start the final period here on 2nd down. To the air, it's Morris. He's got him. He'll get it up to about the 32-yard line before he stopped, and it'll be 1st down. That big pickup on what they call the drag route, but if you hit it on time, you can hit the turbo boosters.
And you've got to be accurate on the throw, too, Reese. Nice job by the QB there, putting it out in front of his receiver to make an easy catch and then advance it.
Leaves it with the running back. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming.
Picks up 3. Brings up 2nd down.
Stuck with a running game on 1st down. Now here they come again. Trying play action. He'll loft one deep down the left side. And it's incomplete, going for the massive explosive play instead. They're looking at a 3rd down.
One of the biggest reasons today why this offense is losing in the game is they haven't been able to get it going throwing the football. This guy still has not thrown a touchdown pass. They thought coming into this game they were going to have tons of success throwing it, but you got to give the defense credit. They watched the film. They've been mixing up their looks defensively, trying to confuse this quarterback, and again, on that last deep shot, it falls incomplete.
I would not want to be the offensive coordinator right now. This offense has a hard time completing the forward pass and making plays, and now you're down, and they know to rush the passer. They know the pass is coming. I'm not sure what the answer is because this offense is just struggling in the passing game.
They're throwing for it on 4th down. He's going to take off. Turns it on in midfield. And he'll slide after picking up the 1st down.
Nice job by the QB, sitting back in the pocket. You can tell he wants to throw the football, go through his progressions. Nothing home, take off, and slide. I love the slide at the end. Don't take a big shot.
The shot that clears are on the move. Dropping back, it's Morris. Pressure is effective from the defense. They knock him down just behind the midfield stripe at the 48.
Well, that inside linebacker is a freak of nature for multiple reasons, and it's hard for a lot of these smaller running backs to have to pick him up in pass pro, not just because of his speed, but he's also big and strong.
And the shot to clears have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a month. And here comes the pressure, and there he goes down again.
This defense right now is pitting their ears back with a huge lead in the 4th quarter, and you're seeing that coming off the edge. They're not even respecting run because they don't have to. They know that this opponent is going to throw the football. They're taking wider splits. They're getting up the field. They're using their speed, and that time tracking the quarterback down for a big sack.
They stop him short, and we'll have a big 4th down coming. Down by multiple possessions, they can't come up empty on this drive in the 4th quarter. They'll go for it on 4th down. He lofts it high and deep down the left side. Can't hook up on the long throw, and 4th down goes by the boards for this offense. They want that clock to run. And he's able to shed one tackle, but still just a very short gain.
And I know you can play these late game situations differently, but I love when you just stay physical. You run the football, you preserve the lead, you got great field position, you're in a great position to salt this clock away and get a W.
Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. They feed him again. They finally get a hold of him, knocking him down behind the line of scrimmage. He had been running wild.
3rd down coming up.
And just nowhere to go for that runner. He had no choice. That defense, they were bringing it up front. Everybody winning their one-on-ones, and they completely had him surrounded.
They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. To the air, it's Morris. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a 4th down.
Well, the offense has had their way all game long up to this point. Finally, the defense is able to make a play. And I'll tell you, after that hit, that receiver, he's going to be thinking twice about running that route again.
And the Cavaliers will send out the punt unit. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. And that is just about a perfect punt as he pins them deep inside the 10-yard line. Off the play fake on 1st down, wants to throw. Finds his big tight end. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
Yeah, nice job by the defense. That's what you're supposed to do. As soon as they catch the football, you want to limit that yards after the catch, and he went nowhere after the catch. Nice job by the D.
So now it's 2nd and long. Looking to fire. Oh, they're after him. Just a short pass to the tight end. And he's brought down after a nice gain. The offense will stop the clock and use one of its timeouts. They're backed up just a little. 1st and 10 from their own 19. He's got it on the right. Didn't pick up a lot there. Moved it forward just a few.
Well, and here's the problem offensively. Because you're trailing by so much so late in the game, the defense now is going to be playing big zone coverages, and they're going to allow you to throw the ball underneath in the middle of the field, rally to make a tackle, and bleed the clock. It's going to be hard now for this offense to claw their way back in this one.
They get the timeout called. 11 seconds remaining to play. Working well behind the sticks on 2nd down. Looking downfield, it's Morris. Snagged out of the air. Timeout is called and the clock is down to 8. Now facing a 3rd and long. Here's the snap, looking to throw. He's going up top here late in the game. What a spectacular grab there as they try to finish this game with a little something to feel good about.